Hey everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrap Me Quick Designs and the Let's Learn Cricut Explore Facebook group. And today I'm going to show you how do you use the Ribbons and Rosettes cartridge to make one of the rosettes. I get asked this question all the time, so I wanted to take an opportunity to show you how this works. It's really easy. They make great decorations for parties. They make cute decorations just to hang in your room. They're really fun. One of the things I wanted to show you was in the handbook that comes with the cartridge. If for some reason you are using this in Cricut Design Space and you don't have the handbook from the physical cartridge, you can see that at cricut.com//handbooks, and you could find the handbook for it online. All right, now ribbons and rosettes, and we're going to make this monogram rosette that is the project that's in the front of the book, just as an example, and it'll give you some directions, and this would be true for any of the rosettes that you want to make in the book. There's a lot of different ones, and they have different edges on them, which makes it really fun to match it to whatever theme that you want. They also have a lot of extra images on here that you could use for other things, to create a border or to embellish your center of your rosette. Okay, so like here's one that's got a Christmas tree. This one's got a cute little embellishment there. This one has little birds around it, and it has a bird in the center. So you can get really creative with what you want to put in the center of your rosettes once you get them made. So let's go ahead and put one together so you can see how this works. Now, what you're going to do is this rosette has 6 pieces, so it'll give you instructions to tell you that you need to cut 6 of these. Now, this one is cut according to the directions in the handbook, which tells you that you're going to cut them at 5 inches. So 5 inches is the width, okay? Not 5 inches tall. You're cutting 5 inches the width, all right? So in Design Space, make sure you're putting that 5 inches in the width. Leave the lock on in Design Space so that you end up with it 5 inches long, and you'll need your scoring tool because it will actually score the lines where you're going to fold this. All right, so you'll want to have that. You'll also pick whatever paper you're going to do your design out of, and then you'll have whatever papers you want to make your medallion. All right, whatever's going to go in the center. And then the secret to having a successful rosette is make 2 circles out of cardstock. All right, so if you just follow the directions, what's going to happen is when you start to put this rosette together, you are going to have it popping up on you, and you're not going to be very happy about it, and they're not going to hold up very long. So what you want to do is you want to have 2 circles. I just made these, I think they're 2-inch circles. And I'm going to put one on the back and one on the front of my medallion when I get it put together here in a minute. So you'll need 2 circles out of cardstock. These will be circles that you add to your project. They are not part of the design in the ribbons and rosette. I just used 2 circles from the basic shapes, okay? So you'll need 2 circles. Now, you can use various adhesives, whatever you want to use. I tend to put my rosette pieces together by using some score pal tape or a hot glue gun. Okay, now I have my hot glue gun out here right now because you really need the hot glue gun when you get ready to adhere your medallion together to make the circle of it. So I've got mine warming up here, and basically you're going to take your paper, and you'll see you'll have the edge that has whatever border it is that you have on yours, and it will have scored it. When you use the score tool, you'll pick the rosette that says that it is a rosette. Don't pick the one that's a border. There's one that's a border that looks just like this, but it doesn't have the score lines on it, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to create a peak and a valley, a peak and a valley, a peak and a valley, okay? So when I'm talking about that, this is what I'm talking about. So you're going to fold it so you have a peak, and then there's a valley, a peak and a valley, a peak, okay? On each one of these sections, you'll have 6 of these. There will be one section of it is the little tab, okay? So there's a little tab on the side. That's where you're going to be connecting these together, all right? So I've already done that part here, and all I did was I added some score tape here because that's what I use. You can use your hot glue gun if you want. I just like to use my score tape, because I'm notorious for burning my fingers. So with this, I just like to use my score tape. And if you haven't used score tape before, it's a double-sided sticky tape. It comes in different widths. This is the 1/4 inch, which is the one I use the most. And I can put a link in the video to where I buy it. I buy it online on Amazon. Anyway, okay, so now I've got this folded in my peaks and my valleys, and I'm going to line it up with the edge of one that I've already put together. Okay, so I've added that one to the end. That's what I did for all 6 of these. Okay, so when you have all 6 together, now what you're going to do, you're going to form a loop. Now this one gets adhered to this. Okay, so then you're going to create it as a loop. All right, so now I need to add some score tape on this. Let me just make sure I have this the way I want it. And as long as you make sure that as you're adhering this, that you have the peaks and the valleys and they're matching up, so that when you complete the entire circle, your peaks and your valleys match up. If for some reason you're having trouble with that, getting them to line up right, then you may just need to refold your piece real quick and change the peak and the valley so that then it lines up right. Okay, so I'm going to add that tab. I'm just going to flip that over so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I've added the tab. So now what I have is I have a circle. Okay, so I've taken those 6 pieces, those 6 5-inch pieces, I've glued them to each other, and now I've created a circle. All right, now what happens? Right? You get this far and you're like, how do I make this work? What you're going to do is you're going to, the easiest way is to push it in from the middle. Okay, and just kind of get it started, making sure your peaks and your valleys are working for you. My paper that I'm using is stiff. Okay, so you'll just need to kind of get it started. I'm trying to be careful with these loops and not get them all smashed. But once you have it into your shape, this is when you're going to use your hot glue gun and one of your circles. Okay, so I'm going to add some hot glue. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over my glued piece here, my piece with the glue, and that's what's going to hold this together. Okay, so I'm going to push this in and hold this on here until that glue grabs the top of my peaks. Okay, now some people like to just add the one circle in the middle. I tend to like to put one on the back. It just adds more stability to my rosette. Okay, and then I'm just going to place it on the back here and let that dry, let it cool down so it's dried on there. I'm just pressing it to make sure that all the edges are on there. Okay, now my rosette is nice and secure. Okay, it is completely secure. It's not going to fall apart on me. I'm not going to have issues with it. I could glue a stick on the back of this and make it so that it is, you know, something I could stick in a pot and plant if I wanted. I could add some string to the back of this and be able to hang this up. But that's the rosette. Now what you want to do is you want to put your topper on here. Okay, so whatever embellishment is that you're going to add to the front of this. All right, so with this is a medallion shape that's in the rosette ribbons and rosette cartridge. I cut it out of white cardstock, then I cut the back layer is out of white cardstock, then I cut the silver medallion piece in silver glitter, and that's why I have my close to my heart liquid glass glue. I used a liquid glue to adhere my initial on here, the D, is actually the Ribbons and Rosette font. Okay, so I cut this out of cardstock and I used my liquid glue to glue this onto my silver glitter paper so that it will stick. And now what I need to do is I just need to add this to my rosette, and then it is finished. So I'm going to just go ahead and add some glue here. Okay, and then I'm going to add my rosette on here and just kind of line that up and let that cool for a second. And I'll usually just hold my hand on it for a second just to make sure that it's grabbed all the surface that I want it to, so it stays on. Okay, and now I have finished my lovely monogram rosette. Hope you guys found that useful, and I will talk to you later.